March. Not only is the beginning of spring, but is also a special time for city builders. City Skylines was released on March 10, 2015, and since then it has become one of the most complex and defining city building games ever made. Over the years, expansions and updates have gradually built a community of millions around the world, even winning over many former SimCity fans. I have to admit, I forget this date every year. And every year, Paradox reminds me that another year has passed in the history of City Skylines. By now, it has become a tradition to celebrate the anniversary with the announcement of new content. This year is no different. 3 new content packs have been announced for the original City Skylines and 2 more for City Skylines II. In today's video, we will take a detailed look at what we can expect from the new content coming to the first game. And next week, we will also take a closer look at what's coming to City Skylines 2. So let's dive in, and if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Let's start with a content creator pack that, even if it might not be the most popular one, is definitely the most interesting for me. This is Iconic Brutalism's content creator pack, which brings brutalist architecture into the game. The brutalist movement originally emerged from modern architecture and began spreading during the 1950s. According to some theories, the name comes from the idea of celebrating brutal or raw aesthetics, while others trace it back to the French word béton brut, meaning raw concrete. After World War II, there was a massive need to build large housing complexes quickly and cheaply, and concrete proved to be the perfect material for that purpose. Consequently, brutalist buildings often appear as monumental block-like structures defined by angular geometric shapes and very little, sometimes absolutely no, decoration. To use an analogy, brutalist buildings are a bit like pugs in the dog world. They are so ugly that some people actually start finding them beautiful. But one thing is certain, once you place them in your city, they will definitely stand out. And that's exactly what we can expect from this new content pack. The Content Creator Pack focuses mainly on iconic brutalist public buildings rather than residential blocks. The pack includes 18 service buildings, 5 unique buildings, and 3 plazas. Among them are both traditional and elevated metro stations. I think it could be quite interesting to design an entire metro line using brutalist architecture. The service buildings cover almost the full spectrum: police stations, fire departments, hospitals, schools, universities, and even infrastructure like a garbage incinerator or an oil power plant. Because these buildings are so visually striking, they might work best when used sparingly throughout a city. But creating an entire brutalist district could also result in a very monumental and unique look. The plazas also mix concrete with trees and even water elements. Placing one of these in a colorful neighborhood, for example next to buildings from the Plazas and Promenades DLC, could create a very interesting visual contrast. I think brutalist architecture works best in dense metropolitan areas rather than suburban neighborhoods, but overall this is definitely a content pack worth experimenting with if you want to give your city a completely different atmosphere. Now let's move on the second creator pack, Race Day. To be honest, I don't think many people expected that City Skylines would receive another major gameplay expansion at this point. When Hotels and Retreats released in 2023, many players assumed that the game had reached the end of its life cycle. However, the console version of City Skylines II is still delayed, and it seems that Paradox has also realized that the first City Skylines is essentially a timeless classic. Even if City Skylines II eventually surpasses it, which I personally wouldn't expect before around the game's 5th anniversary, there will likely still be many players who prefer the original game. And this is where Tantalus Media enters the picture. The studio has previously worked on projects like the remastered version of Age of Empires 2 and the console version of Age of Mythology Retold. Race Day appears to be their first fully independent project within the City Skylines universe, and judging from what have we seen so far, they have put a lot of effort into it. Out of all the new content packs, including those coming to City Skylines 2, Race Day probably adds the most significant gameplay features. If you already own the Match Day DLC, you may have built stadiums before. These not only look great, but can also generate quite a lot of revenue. With Race Day, however, you can transform your entire city into a sports hub. You will be able to organize car races, motocross championships, running events, cycling races, and even street parades. Each racetrack functions as its own special area. Instead of drawing a district boundary, you actually design the track itself. That means you will need to plan the layout of the circuit, build service roads, add pit lanes, and place spectator stands. It might sound complex at first, but fortunately the developers released a detailed tutorial explaining how the system works. Based on the dev diary from Tantalus, building a racetrack can be summarized in 10 simple steps. 1. Leave enough space for the racetrack. 2. Start by placing the Race HQ building from the Parks and Plazas menu. 3. Use the motor racetrack road types to design the circuit. 4. The track must form a closed loop, but bridges and tunnels are possible. 5. Build the pit lane and connect it to the main track. 6. Leave enough space for garages along the pit lane. 7. Build spectator stands along the circuit. 8. Decorate the track with fences and floodlights. 9. Select the race type from the Race HQ interface. And 10. Set the number of laps, ticket prices, and the event date. And that's it. Once everything is ready, you can host the event and enjoy the revenue it generates. Personally, I think Race Day is a fantastic idea because it really brings something new to the game. And thanks to the new road types, Formula-style races could even take places on the streets of your city, just like in Monaco. Especially since we can organize running races, cycling competitions, and even street parades. The last time we saw something like this in a city-building game was probably in SimCity 3000, although street parades may also be familiar to players from other titles such as Anno 1800. To create these events, you first need to design so-called event routes. Let's take a look at how this system works based on the developer diary. 1. Choose the start and finish locations. The starting point for parades, running races, and cycling races is the start line park, while the event ends at the finish line park. Both buildings can be found in the parks menu. 2. Connect the two locations with an event road. You can also convert existing streets into event roads. 3. Keep traffic in mind when planning the route. Whenever an event takes place, these roads will be temporarily closed to normal traffic. 4. To avoid traffic chaos, you can build alternative routes or use the new LA road type. 5. It is also a good idea to run even routes through attractive districts of the city, since this can increase the number of spectators and generate higher ticket revenue. 6. Each event goes through several phases and each of them affects city traffic in a different way. During the setting up phase, the event roads are closed and traffic is redirected to other streets. In the in-progress phase, the event is fully active and the roads along the route are completely closed to normal traffic. If a building does not have an alternative access point, even service vehicles won't be able to reach it. During the packing up phase, participants begin leaving the area. However, until normal traffic is restored, buildings along the event route may still remain inaccessible. This is why planning proper alternative routes is so important. Finally, if none of these phases are active, the route enters the inactive state. At that point, all restrictions are removed, barriers disappear, and traffic flows normally again. I think introducing events into the game was a fantastic idea. This is the kind of feature that will probably work well for most players in City Skylines because of relatively modest hardware requirements. In City Skylines II, however, something like this might have caused more performance issues. It also opens up a completely new approach to defining special areas in the game. Instead of drawing districts with the traditional district tool, the route itself defines where the event takes place. In my opinion, this is a flexible and elegant solution. It means that building racetracks or organizing running races and parades no longer requires drawing complex districts boundaries. Everything can be done much more naturally. Personally, I am really looking forward to this expansion, and of course I will be showcasing it on the channel together with the other City Skylines updates as soon as it releases. The third DLC is Renewed History. Compared to the previous two packs, this one feels a bit like a dark horse. At first glance, the content doesn't seem huge. The pack includes 7 service buildings, 11 unique buildings, 10 parks, and 22 decorative props. The core idea behind Renewed History is to create districts where historical architecture and modern design coexist. The buildings often use modern materials such as glass and concrete, but their proportions and shapes are designed to fit into historic surroundings. This makes the pack particularly useful for renovated industrial districts, modern cultural areas, historic downtown redevelopments. Rather than introducing an entirely new city style, Renewed History acts more like a bridge between architectural eras. When combined with DLCs like European Suburbaria, plazas and promenades, or hotels and retreats, it allows players to create districts that feel both historic and modern. While the pack does not include zoned buildings, the 22 new props could be very useful for adding detail to city districts and making them feel more alive. Overall, this may not be the most spectacular DLC, but it could still be a valuable addition for players who enjoy detailed city design. Of course, as the saying goes, free is the best price. Alongside the paid DLCs, a free update will also introduce several useful features. One of them is the ability to place fences along roads, similar to how we can currently place trees. You simply select a fence and click on the road. The fence will appear on the side closest to the cursor, and right-clicking removes it. In upgrade mode, you can also reserve the direction of the fence. 2 new billboard props are also included. These large advertising boards are self-illuminated, meaning they can be visible day and night throughout the city. Another useful addition is the Employment Info view. This new information layer allows players to quickly see which areas of the city need workers and where unemployed citizens live. It provides a better overview of how the city's economy functions, as well as makes balancing employment much easier. All in all, City Skylines is celebrating its 11th anniversary with 3 very different content packs. Iconic Brutalism brings architectural inspiration. Race Day introduces a completely new gameplay system. And Renewed History expands city design with new atmosphere and detail. Perhaps this variety is exactly what has made City Skylines so successful over the years, the ability to constantly add something new to the city building experience. Even though the focus is slowly shifting toward City Skylines II, the original game is clearly still alive and evolving. I am really looking forward to these updates, and I will share my impressions here on the channel once I have had some time to try them out. In the meantime, I would love to hear what you think. Which DLC are you most excited about? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future City Skylines 1 and 2 content. Next week, we will also take a closer look at the anniversary updates coming to City Skylines 2. Have a great day and enjoy building your city.